if you're ever thinking of going to space because you have money or you want to pay to Elon Musk or China, you want to fly into deep space, or not really deep space, just one of the, the spheres. So you can pay NASA, or I don't know if they're all astronauts, but if you're ever thinking about that, when you're coming back to Earth, you could be having some issues to sit down. It's hard to sit, one of the astronauts said. So let's check out why.
Entered ignition and liftoff of the Polaris Dawn mission on the Falcon 9 rocket.
Yeah, Falcon is Elon Musk property, private missile.
Welcome to orbit.
By going to the highest levels of orbit in nearly 60 years and performing the first all-civilian spacewalk.
Commander Jared Isaacman, now emerging.
All civilian. You get what I'm saying? Money.
Is commercial space travel a looming reality for most people?
I certainly think so. A great proof point is while we were in orbit, there were 19 people in orbit.
19 people in orbit. It's like you remember when people there was few people back in the past that climbed the Everest, right? And now they have a bunch of people that climbing there, tens of, just 10, 20, 30, I don't know, climbers together with high expensive gear. So this is the same. 19 people in orbit. It's the new, the new Everest.
At once, which was a record. And 3 years ago, when I went to space for the first time, the record was 14.
So this guy's having issues to sit down.
These may seem like
he's sitting.
small numbers, but there's steps in the right
direction. But his leg is up, so
but
maybe.
To keep moving in the right direction, there is still so much to overcome.
About 60% of people flying to space are afflicted by space motion sickness. This really hits you for the first few days.
Anna Menon was the mission's medical officer.
Can you give us some details? What did you experience?
It can be a whole spectrum of experience from, lightheadedness, nausea, all the way to vomiting. I experienced really the whole gamut.
Jesus.
It's because of the lack of
full spectrum of issues. Spectrum from your head all the way to your rectum. This is the spectrum.
That messaging to our brains can go awry, and that can result in motion sickness like side effects. But you should also know that the brain physically changes during space travel. Look here. It shifts up ever so slightly in the skull, and the fluids surrounding and protecting the brain expand.
It's a very austere environment. We're all going to be susceptible to something. For me, it was kind of this.
But what is up your butt? This is why I'm here.
That I had to deal with that was perpetual for a majority of the mission.
Scott Poteet was the mission's pilot. What he noticed were changes in his vision.
More or less, my vision acuity started to deteriorate those first few days, but immediately came back once I came back to Earth.
50 to 70% of astronauts, after spending
bringing glasses with them,
of time on the International Space Station, have degradation in their vision.
Dr. Donna Roberts has spent more than 20 years with NASA trying to understand why symptoms like that occur.
We've been analyzing MRI brain scans of astronauts that were obtained before
they
went
MRI
into
in space,
and then sometime after they landed back on Earth.
What you're seeing is an exclusive look at the post-flight health data collection the Polaris team underwent, testing everything from their balance and their vision, as well as the imaging of their brains.
You went to space healthy, we bring you back broken.
The astronauts went deeper into space than astronauts have been since the Apollo days, and more exposure to radiation. And so the question could have been, was there any evidence of radiation injury? And we're not seeing that on the initial look at these images. So that's a really good thing.
Do you think we're getting to the point where humans could reliably live on space station or even a different planet?
There's so much that changes when you're actually in.
I think the space station is slowly falling down into Earth, so no.
Micrograv.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I read something about it, that in a few years from now, they are going to have to get rid of the space station, so Mars.
That's not how we evolved. But I think that really just underscores the importance to me of the research we are doing, the data we're collecting that can then feed into how do we solve some of these challenges? How do we enable so many more people to get to space?
It's that sort of research and data that might lead to another giant leap for mankind. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN, reporting.
Again, fucking CNN with those nonsense of like headlines. NASA astronaut on readjusting to life on Earth. It's hard to sit. Where? Everybody are sitting. Where?